Yo, what's happening? It's Rap Star over here, mate. Hey, look, while I'm taking a little walk, I needed to catch on this. Anthony Joshua. The whole boxing world has gave up on Mr. Joshua. They don't think Anthony Joshua has the mentality to come back and beat Alexander Usyk. But I have a plan. I have a plan for Mr. Anthony Joshua. Mr. Anthony Joshua needs to go and catch his countryman, the legend, the one and only Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn. He needs Nigel Benn as a mentor right now. Let me just explain and give everybody a history lesson about Mr. Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn. Everybody knows that Nigel Benn had a street mentality. And there is people in London, England, who don't give a fuck. I'm telling you this right now. There's a whole bunch of people in London which are like Anthony Joshua, and they have a street mentality. And this is who Nigel Benn was. Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, had a street mentality. He didn't give a fuck attitude, and he was ready to come with all guns blazing. One thing about Mr. Nigel Benn, he never had the boxing skills. He never had the boxing skills, but he was a street fighter. And this is a time where Anthony Joshua needs to go back to the motherfucking drawing board. London people don't fuck around. We got some serious motherfucking dudes in London, England. Let me just say this. In London, England, hey, there's too much noise. Just bear with me, guys. Yeah, right now, Anthony Joshua needs to get a mentor. And I'm telling everybody in the boxing world, even though we come from London, there's some crazy motherfuckers in England. There's some crazy motherfuckers in England. And Nigel Benn was one of those guys. Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, coming from my fucking neck of the woods in London, England. And let me just tell you, Anthony Joshua needs to get the mentality like the Dark Destroyer. The Dark Destroyer from London, England, he was all guns blazing. This man had a street code, he came from the street, and he didn't give a fuck about anyone. One thing about Nigel Benn, he took all the risk, and he was ready to be killed or kill. And this is it. It's fucking seek and destroy now. Anthony Joshua needs to fucking become like the Dark Destroyer. He does. Let me tell you this right now. Enough of Mr. Nice Guy. Enough of trying to please the people in the world to try and show that Anthony Joshua is such a nice guy. Fuck with that nice guy. It's time that London brings that energy. It's time that the boxing fucking world realizes that Anthony Joshua needs to come back like the Mike Tyson. Anthony Joshua needs to come back like Iron Mike Tyson. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Some of you guys might be young out there, but Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, he didn't take anything for granted. Nigel Benn was a street fighter, and his mentality, let me just keep this shit real out here. Nigel Benn was never a good boxer, but his fucking mentality was on another level. There was only two people which were killers in the time of Mike Tyson. And those two people were Nigel Benn and fucking Gerald McKellen. Let me tell you, Gerald McKellen was another killer, and Nigel Benn was another killer. Nigel Benn never gave a fuck about anybody. He was ready to be killed in that ring. And it's time Anthony Joshua starts to get his mentality from Nigel, the Dark Destroyer, Benn. I said it. Anthony Joshua, you need to reach out to the Dark Destroyer. Yes, the Dark Destroyer, who never fucking ducked any smoke. The Dark Destroyer in Nigel Benn wanted to kill people in the motherfucking ring. And that's the kind of attitude that Anthony Joshua needs before he comes in that ring with Alexander Usyk. That's right. Anthony Joshua needs to go with Nigel Benn and understand what mentality he needs to bring to the fucking ring. Because I'm going to say this clearly. All that nice Mr. Goody Goody boy, all trying to act nice for the ambassadors. We know that, Anthony Joshua, he represents Range Rover, Jaguar, Under Armour. So he has to act in a certain way for the corporate world. But we're done with that corporate Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua comes from the street. He comes from where Nigel Benn comes from. So this man needs to bring that fucking arrogant street, London, not give a fuck attitude in this rematch. That's right. Anthony Joshua needs to go face his demons now. And he need to go sit around with some killers. Yes, he does. And he need to sit with the one and only. There's only one man who can fucking get Anthony Joshua hypnotized. That's right. Anthony Joshua needs hypnosis. That's right. He needs to be fucking hypnotized by the one and only Mr. Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer. There ain't no second to this now. This is it. We need the Dark Destroyer to come back. Otherwise, Anthony Joshua bringing that nice, goody, Mr. Nice Guy ain't gonna work. It's a mentality thing now. Anthony Joshua doesn't have the skills like Nigel Benn in this fight. Anthony Joshua don't have the skills to beat Alexander Usyk. But let me tell you what he can do. He come with that Dark Destroyer mentality, that Nigel Benn mentality, that street code, the London fucking street mentality, and come in that ring to take Alexander Usyk's fucking head off. That's what he needs to do. Fuck being nice. Fuck shaking hands. You saw what Nigel Benn used to do. He never gave a fuck about nobody. And some of those fights, he was never as good as those fighters. Nigel Benn was not as good as Iran Barkley. But Nigel Benn had an attitude which was a killer. And he beat the fuck out of Iran Barkley. When Nigel Benn beat Doug DeWitt was a favourite in Caesar's Hotel in the 90s. But Nigel Benn beat the fuck out of Doug DeWitt. When Nigel Benn came for his rematch against Chris Eubank Sr., Chris Eubank Sr. was a better boxer than Nigel Benn. But Nigel Benn's mentality came back in that rematch to teach Chris Eubank Sr. who the fuck he is. Most of Nigel Benn's fights have been won through his mentality. So now it's time. It's time for Anthony Joshua to get that inheritance and get a mentor. And the mentor that I found for Anthony Joshua is one of our only men in the legend, our own countryman, the man who represents London. And this man is the Dark Destroyer. The Dark Destroyer needs to mentor Anthony Joshua to show the boxing world how it fucking needs to be done. Because we know Anthony Joshua can't bring those skills anymore. His skills are not good enough for a fight against Alexander Usyk. But I'll tell you something, if he comes with that killer mentality, if he comes with that Iron Mike Tyson mentality, the Nigel Benn mentality, even the Deontay Wilder mentality, Anthony Joshua needs to have a crazy mindset. He needs to come back with all guns blazing and he can't think about anything else. It's done with giving anyone any respect because nobody respects you, Anthony Joshua. Now that you've been beat, the boxing world has given up on you. The boxing world has said Anthony Joshua hasn't got it anymore. Now they say that Anthony Joshua's not that guy. Well, I'm going to keep it real and let's keep it straightforward. Anthony Joshua just needs a mentality check. Anthony Joshua just needs a mentality check from no better than one of our own in the Dark Destroyer. And if Anthony Joshua comes with the Dark Destroyer mentality, the kill or be killed mentality, the one which wants to seek and destroy, then that's the Anthony Joshua we need in the London mentality. Bring that street code into the ring and take Alexander Usyk's fucking soul. He can't fight Alexander Usyk. He can't box Alexander Usyk. He's just got to go in there for a motherfucking street fight like Nigel Benn did. Give me a second. Let me give you a history check. Nigel Benn was a killer. Nigel Benn is a killer. He came and represented the London, England with a mentality that's second to no one. The man never had no boxing skills. But I'll tell you something, he had a mindset and he had a heart of a fucking lion. You cannot deny who Nigel Benn was. And that's the mentality that I need for my own Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua needs to sit with Mr. Nigel Benn and let Nigel Benn be the mentor of Anthony Joshua. Because all that nice thing, all that being Mr. Nice ain't going to help him in no rematch. Don't come with no rematch if you're not coming with a killer mentality. Don't come for a rematch if you're not ready for the street life. And I'm telling you this right now, Anthony Joshua has it. Anthony Joshua has it in his mind, but something is facing him with demons. There's some demons in Anthony Joshua, and he needs to get rid of that. And he needs to come with a crazy mindset, like Mr. Dark Destroyer himself. Nigel Benn was one of them men in England who will never be denied in his mental strength. His mental strength was second to no one. When Nigel Benn faced another killer, this man was better than him. This man was much better than Nigel Benn as a boxer in Gerald McKellen. Gerald McKellen was another killer, but Nigel Benn's his mental, the way that he was, just his brain, just the way that he was as a street guy, the way that he didn't give a fuck about nobody, that's what won him this fight. When Nigel Benn faced Gerald McKellen, the whole boxing world said, this is the stupidest fight for Nigel Benn, because Gerald McKellen was knocking everyone out, and he was a much, much better boxer. Gerald McKellen knocked out Julian Jackson. That's right. Gerald McKellen knocked out Julian Jackson. And Julian Jackson was the baddest man on the fucking planet. Julian Jackson knocked out one of my own people in Sheffield, in Harold Bomb Graham. And he beat the fuck out of Harold Graham. But I'm telling you this right now, when Nigel Benn came with that killer mentality, and Nigel Benn was not going to be denied, it was his pure mentality, his pure street life. The way that he used to think in his brain is what, and his heart won this fight for him. Nigel Benn was never the greatest boxer, but even in his rematch with Chris Eubank Sr., Nigel Benn gave all the smoke. Nigel Benn came and he looked to beat the fuck out of Chris Eubank Sr. just in his mentality. So this is what I'm saying. Anthony Joshua needs to take a leaf. He needs to take a leaf off of Nigel Benn's book. He needs to go and sit with Nigel Benn and get a mentor on his side. He needs to surround himself with killers like Nigel Benn. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. But look, this is a fighter, yeah, that Anthony Joshua needs that brain set. Anthony Joshua needs Nigel Benn's mindset, Nigel Benn's killer instinct. This is the only way that Anthony Joshua can win the rematch. Being nice is all a load of bullshit. Not everybody from London and England is nice. Anthony Joshua, I don't believe, is that nice guy that he portrays on the TV. I just don't think Anthony Joshua is that guy that sits down and tries to be really nice to people. I feel like the reason why he needs to be nice to people is because he's a massive ambassador. He's representing Range Rover. Give me one sec. Sorry, I'm just going to go somewhere where there's not too much noise. Give me a second. Yeah, and I can't see the messages. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm just walking around. I thought we'd talk about this situation, but I said this straightforward, that Mr. Good Guy Anthony Joshua is not helping him anymore. He needs a killer instinct, and there's no better killer instinct. The man that was a killer instinct of the world of sport. When I talk about two people which were killers in the 90s, and that was Mike Tyson and Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn used to scare people just in his mentality. Because I'm telling you this now, there were many, many better boxers than Nigel Benn. There were many, many better boxers than Nigel Benn, like Iran Barkley, like Doug Duett, Chris Eubank Sr., Gerald McKellen. All these guys were much better boxers than Nigel Benn. But Nigel Benn's heart, his grit, his determination, his non give a fuck attitude, kill or don't kill or be killed, seek and destroy. Nigel Benn had that street mentality, bruv. Nigel Benn came from the streets of London. Nigel Benn came from the fucking crime, the streets, and he had a mentality which was not going to be denied. And that's the kind of fucking mindset that Mr. Anthony Joshua needs. He needs to think like Mike Tyson. He needs to think like Nigel Benn. Because I'll tell you this right now, if these guys could come and do it, if this guy, Nigel Benn, was never as good as Gerald McKellen, he was never as good as Chris Eubank Sr., if he could come back just with a killer mindset and come back and beat someone who's a better boxer than him, then if he can do it, Anthony Joshua should be able to do it, because Anthony Joshua is a much stronger, much more stronger, and much more bigger fighter than Alexander Usyk. So if Nigel Benn can come back with a killer instinct and beat the people which were better than him, then why can't Anthony Joshua beat Alexander Usyk with a killer mentality? And he needs to right now bring that killer instinct. Fuck the boxing. You heard me. Fuck the boxing. This ain't about no boxing anymore. This is pure street fighting now. You heard me. This is street fighting now. Anthony Joshua doesn't need to bring no boxing skills to the ring. What he needs to bring is a killer mentality, and let's go for it, and let's get either knocked out, or he's going to get knocked out, or he's going to knock him out. But Anthony Joshua got to move that. He now got to change his mentality. That's right. He got to come back like the Dark Destroyer, or it's over for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua cannot win this fight with Alexander Usyk being Mr. Nice Guy. It's time for Anthony Joshua to change the way that he thinks in boxing. And that's it. It's a mentality situation now. Anthony Joshua got to forget about boxing, and now he's got to think about street fighting. That's it. It's a street fight now. He got to go in there and he got to take this man's fucking head off. Fuck the game plan. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go in that fucking ring and let's give it to Alexander Usyk. Now it's time that the bigger man, the stronger man, shows us that he's a killer inside. Because everybody in boxing have the killer instinct anymore. They say that Anthony Joshua is mentally weak. Give me a second, my brothers. Look at the killer in Nigel Benn's eyes. Look at the killer instinct in Nigel Benn's eyes. Even though he wasn't a good boxer, but look at the man's killer instinct. We don't see that in Anthony Joshua. See, that killer instinct that you can see in Nigel Benn's eyes, you can't see that in Anthony Joshua's eyes. You can't see that in Anthony Joshua's eyes. Anthony Joshua's got some fear. You can see some fear, or he's scared. He's scared somewhere, and he can't be scared anymore. He can't fight comfortable, trying to make it a comfortable fight now. You see the killer in my boy's eyes, in my guy's eyes, the legend, the man, the dark destroyer. Nigel Benn was a killer. And those are the kind of eyes that he needs to bring to the fucking ring against Alexander Usyk in a fucking rematch. Yo, Ayob said that AJ gonna be a 3-time champ. Well, Ayobs, man, thanks for coming through to the channel and supporting your boy, Rapstar. But what do you think about Nigel Benn, bro? Don't you think that Nigel Benn's mentality, that dark destroyer mentality, is what Anthony Joshua needs? You can see in Anthony Joshua's eyes, they're not like Nigel Benn's eyes. Nigel Benn's eyes are a killer. He's taking you out. He's gonna shoot you in the brain. This man's coming to take your family. That's the kind of man that we need to see in this particular fight, in the rematch, or forget about the rematch. Don't even sign that rematch. Fuck the rematch, because Anthony Joshua gonna get exposed. Anthony Joshua gonna get beaten up again, and he can't be signing no rematch unless he feels like and he looks like this man. If he comes back like this man, with those fucking, that kind of mindset, with the killer instinct eyes, then yeah, Anthony Joshua can beat the fuck, or he can hurt Alexander Usyk. And if he smells blood, it's time to go all guns blazing. It's time to take Alexander Usyk out, because if you don't, he's gonna take your whole family out. If you don't take him out, he's taking you out. That's the kind of mentality Mr. Anthony Joshua needs in the ring. AJ could do with going back to the psycho that smiled when he got hit. He was much more intimidating then. You're right, bruv. Before the Andy Ruiz fight, EDP, Anthony Joshua had some killer instinct. Before the Andy Ruiz fight, Anthony Joshua had some killer instinct in him. When he used to hurt you, he used to finish you. And I think Andy Ruiz has took that killer instinct out of him. I think Andy Ruiz, after that first fight, something's happened to him. He's second guessing himself. And you can see the fear. You can see the fear in AJ's eyes when he goes in the ring. You can see that he's a bit hesitant, and he's constantly like, I don't know what it is about, you know, AJ trying to be too composed, but AJ doesn't go for the kill anymore. AJ gets scared. AJ's scared to go for the kill, and he can't be scared. He got to surround himself with serious motherfucking killers. I'm telling you, London people, we got some killers over here. Let me tell you, people from London don't fuck about out here, bruv. Anthony Joshua, he's from that fucking kind of a life when he was young. Anthony Joshua comes from the streets. He used to sell fucking drugs. So I don't know what's going on with this guy's mentality. But Anthony Joshua's got a corporate mentality now. Anthony Joshua's been manufactured in his brain, and he's been slowly, he's manufactured into another person. But deep down inside, Anthony Joshua is a killer. He's like Nigel Benn, because he comes from the same fucking streets. Anthony Joshua used to be on the streets. Let me tell you that. Anthony Joshua comes from the same fucking streets that we do. And London people, they got killer inside of them. London people have killers inside of them, especially when you come from the street. We don't fuck about out here, bro. We keep our heart on our sleeve. And there's people, they're ready to die. And that's the kind of mentality that some of these London people have. And Anthony Joshua does have that. But somewhere along the line, he's lost that. Somewhere along the line, something's happened where Anthony Joshua has lost his killer instinct. And it just doesn't help him no more. It just doesn't help him no more. Because he's second guessing himself. And when he second guesses himself, that's going to lose him the fight now. Fuck all that shit, bro. Fuck that Anthony Joshua. I'm done with Mr. Nice Anthony Joshua. Let's bring the meanest motherfucker back. Let's bring this man back from where he came from the London streets. Let's bring him back like the Dark Destroyer. And let's fuck all that fear. He got to get rid of that motherfucking fear, or he's going to get beaten the fuck out of in the rematch. Yeah, what's happening, Bolt Hype? You good there, Bolt Hype? Yeah, that's right. He's got to come back, but he can't come back like the Ruiz fight. He can't come back like the Ruiz fight. Fuck all that shit. EDP, he can't come back like Ruiz fight anymore. He can't come back to outbox Usyk. It's not going to work. He's not going to be able to bring any game plan to outbox Usyk. It's done. Now it's kill or be killed. It's a street fight now. It's the Dark Destroyers coming back. It's got to be the Nigel Benn Dark Destroyer Part 2, or this ain't happening, bro. He ain't going to be able to do it. And he's got to come back like a killer or forget about it. Hawker Mustang, what's happening, my brother? What's happening, my brethren? Anthony Joshua is going to get knocked out in the rematch. Sorry, bro. Hey, listen, that's what I'm telling you. He is going to get beaten the fuck out of. But if he comes back like a killer, let me show you something. Let me just show you this, bro. Let me give you a history here. Let me give you some history here, bro. Let me show you what kind of mentality this man needs, bro. Who remembers this? Chris Eubank was an ultimate boxer. Chris Eubank Sr. was way better than Nigel Benn. And he beat Nigel Benn. And he beat the fuck out of Nigel Benn. But guess what? Nigel Benn went back to the street. And he came back. And let me tell you, he came back for all the smoke. He come back to beat Chris Eubank, which was way better than him. Chris Eubank was way better than Nigel Benn. But Nigel Benn came with that killer mentality for the rematch. And he hurt Chris Eubank. He won that fight, but boxing gave it a draw. He beat Chris Eubank Sr., if you go watch the rematch. And he had to fight his demons. But he said, I don't give a fuck. Now I'm coming back with a killer instinct. See, some fighters can come back, even though you're not good enough, and you might not be a great boxer, but the other guy is a much superior boxer. But the only way Nigel Benn won, and he beat the guys who beat him, is through his fucking pure mindset. It was only his mentality is that won him those fights, because he was willing to give everything in the ring, and he took Chris Eubank Sr.'s heart. When Chris Eubank Sr. saw that this guy is not going to lay down, when this guy started coming with everything, he broke a heart of a man which was much better boxer than him. So it's happened many times. It's happened in history many times. A boxer is much better than you and beats you. But now you got to come back like a killer. Now you got to come back like a killer and take the man out who's better than you as a fighter. And the only way you're going to beat a man who's a much better masterclass boxer than you is if you take it to the street. Now it's time that you need to take this fight to the motherfucking street. Yeah, salute to you, Bruce Goes. How you feeling out there, Bruce? That's true. Hey, you know what, Bruce? I never thought of that. I never thought of this. Joshua's fame and the way that he makes money, the way that he represents Range Rover, the way that he represents Under Armour, Jaguar, he represents so many companies. Bruce has made a good point. When Marvin Hagler told everybody, when you start sleeping on silk sheets, you ain't going to be the same fighter if you ain't got that killer mentality. If you ain't got that killer mentality and you can't take it back when you're living a high life and you're living on silk sheets, then Anthony Joshua, you're right. When you're living on silk sheets and you live a different life, it's probably changed him as a man. over the years, it's very hard to have that hunger mentality, that killer instinct mentality, like Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson, Nigel Benn, Gerald McKellen, Roberto Duran. Killers. I'm talking about killers. Killers can lose their mentality by living good. And maybe Anthony Joshua been living good. You're right there, Bruce. Maybe Anthony Joshua been living such of the good life that he needs to go back now to the street life. He needs to surround himself around different people now. Get rid of all the fucking yes men. Anthony Joshua got to get rid of all the fucking yes men. And now he got to go back to like he wasn't worth shit. He got to fight like he's making money for his children again. And he got to go in there with a fucking crazy mindset. Or if I was him, just don't sign that rematch. Because he will get embarrassed in that rematch if he second guesses himself. He will get embarrassed in that rematch if he's scared of anything. It's time for Anthony Joshua to get hypnotized. It's time for Anthony Joshua to come with that killer blood instinct like Nigel Benn, Iron Mike Tyson, and even Deontay Wilder. I love Deontay Wilder's killer instinct. I do. Even Deontay Wilder has got no skills for most people, but his killer instinct, his mentality. Deontay Wilder has a mindset that can win him most of the fights because he won't be denied. Deontay Wilder has a killer man's mentality, and that's a fact. You can't deny that. And that's what Anthony Joshua needs. He needs a killer man's mentality now. Fuck all that Mr. Nice Guy. What, you can hear me, yeah? Yo, can you hear me out there? Tell me if you can hear me. Oh, you can hear me, yeah? All right, that's cool, that's cool. And that's right, bro. That's right, Hawker Mustang. I was looking for that word. You know what? Anthony Joshua doesn't have the eye of the tiger. Anthony Joshua is a fucking lion. Anthony Joshua is a tiger, but he doesn't have the eye of the tiger. That's right, bruv. Nigel Benn had the eye of a tiger. Nigel Benn would shake the fuck out of you. He would scare the fuck out of you before you get in that ring. What the fuck has happened to Anthony Joshua? What the fuck has happened to Anthony Joshua because he's become a big, giant teddy bear? His mentality is becoming too nice. I don't understand it. But I understand what Bruce or even Hawker Mustang or somebody else just said, that he hasn't got the eye of the tiger. See, he is a killer. One thing we can't take away from Anthony Joshua, he is a killer, but he ain't ready to kill. Something's wrong with his brain mindset here. Let me tell you why. He's second guessing himself and he's got fear. Anthony Joshua's got fear in his eyes. Hawker Mustang's giving everybody go check that fight out. You got to go check this fight out. We need Anthony Joshua to go and see how those killers came back in the ring and beat fighters which were much better than him. See, it can be done. Let me tell you, you can't deny Anthony Joshua because he is a killer. He just lost something in his brain. He's lost something in his heart. He's fear. He was fearless, but now he's got fear. So how do we get rid of that fear from Anthony Joshua? How do we get rid of that scared mentality from Anthony Joshua? Does he need to go to the hypnosis? Does he need to go and sit where killers went to hypnosis? Does he need to be hypnotized? Because something's got to be happening for Anthony Joshua because he can't come back to the ring being Mr. Nice Guy. Fuck that shit. Don't even sign the rematch if you think you're coming back being Mr. Nice Guy. That ain't going to happen. That's right, Aobs. That's right, Aobs. 100% correct. Even get Lennox Lewis. Because I'll tell you something, Lennox Lewis had killer instinct. Lennox Lewis is a killer. You see, that's the difference. You know what? You know what AJ reminds me of? AJ reminds me of Frank Bruno. AJ reminds me of Frank Bruno because Frank Bruno was trying so hard. He was the people's champion. Frank Bruno was nice guy, but Nigel Benn was a killer. Lennox Lewis was a killer, but Frank Bruno was Mr. Nice Guy. And for some reason, Anthony Joshua, he reminds me of our Frank Bruno. Yeah, Anthony Joshua reminds me of Frank Bruno now that you think about it. That just came into my mind. Frank Bruno was too nice. He was too nice. And that's what fucked him up. He got to fuck all this Mr. Nice Guy because Frank Bruno ain't going to win him the fight. Nigel Benn or Lennox Lewis mentality is the only way he's going to do anything in that rematch. Yo, Boxing 9082, smash that like button. Thanks for coming through to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you like boxing. All we do is talk about boxing, bruv. But for my London brothers and sisters, for all the people around the world, we can't be sleeping on Anthony Joshua because I'm going to tell you this right now. Anthony Joshua might be able to come back like a killer if he surrounds himself, like Ayob said, like other people have said, if he surrounds himself with a killer mentality people, get rid of his yes men. Get rid of his yes men and let's get him with killer mentality. Let's bring that shit, bro. Let's bring that top boy shit. Let's bring that top boy shit, that killer mentality now. I'm taking your fucking head off, mate. I ain't fucking give a fuck about how good Usyk is. Fuck Usyk. Fuck Usyk. That's what he's got to think about. Usyk took everything away from you. Just think about it this way, AJ. Usyk took everything away from you and left you on the street to die. That's right. Think like that, Mr. Anthony Joshua. Usyk left you to dead, and he left you for dead. Now it's time you get your fucking revenge. For everything that you're worth, Anthony Joshua. For your family's sake. For your children's sake. For everybody's sake. Show these motherfuckers that London don't fuck about. Show these motherfuckers that you come from London, England, and show them that you came from the street and now you're going to take it back to the fucking street. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take this shit back to the street. Tell Range Rover, tell Jaguar, tell Under Armour, tell everybody who's paying you all that money that you don't give a fuck. If they need you to act a certain way, then you can always get that money later on. But for this fight, you're going to have to start saying things to your mind, to your brain. And you got to start saying things that you know what it's going to take for you to come back and kill Alexander Usyk. And if you ain't coming with that mentality, don't even come back. Don't even come back, Anthony Joshua, for a rematch. Because I'll tell you this right now, Mr. Nice Guy is getting knocked out and getting played with. Mr. Nice Guy is going to get fucked up and beaten in that rematch if he don't change his fucking mindset. Yeah, we got to respect AJ because AJ's done a lot for the sport of boxing. People are nothing but motherfucking haters out here. People are nothing but motherfucking haters out here. But it's time for AJ. It's time for AJ to give it one more shot. It's time for AJ to show everybody that he is a motherfucking crazy man too. Now it's time for AJ to show everyone that he's a killer and he ain't playing around anymore. Fuck being Mr. Nice Guy. It's now to be Mr. Bad Guy. Hey, the referee might need to step in and save him. But let me tell you this much. The referee's going to save AJ anyway. The referee's going to save AJ anyway. And you know AJ got to take a fucking risk. So if he's going to go in and the referee's going to save him, it doesn't matter anymore. He need to take a fucking risk and go and try and kill this guy. Because the referee's going to save him if he gets knocked out anyway. You know, this ain't, he just got to bring that street fight mentality in the ring, and he can't think about if he gets knocked out. Fuck that shit. Those things can't even go in Anthony Joshua's brain and his mindset no more. He shouldn't give a fuck if he gets knocked out anymore, because that's the way he's going to win that fight. That's right, bro. I don't know about. See, everybody wants to blame his trainer. I'm not going to blame his trainer. I'm not going to blame his trainer because his trainer took Carl Froch. His trainer took Carl Froch to become a two-time world champion. So I'm not going to blame his trainer because his trainer proved what he could do with another fighter like Carl Froch. And Carl Froch had killer mentality. Even though Carl Froch, you know, he was not that much of a killer, but I'll tell you something, Carl Froch, if he smelt blood, he's going to take you out. Carl Froch got killer mentality. Let's not forget about that. So you can't blame his his trainer, because his trainer already has proved what he has done in the Olympics. His trainer's a fighter. Rob McCracken was a fighter himself. And look what Rob McCracken did for Carl Froch. He made Carl Froch into a two-time world champion. So I can't be blaming his trainer. I'm not into all that shit. Every time a fighter loses, we always look to blame his trainer. That's just a fucking easy scapegoat. It's time for Anthony Joshua to blame himself. It's time for Anthony Joshua to blame himself. Because now he got to go back to the fucking drawing board. But look, smash that like button. Rap start cooking out here while I'm walking the streets out here, mate. We're cooking out here. And I'm a little bit upset for Anthony Joshua because I know London, I've got killers over here, bro. London's got some killers over here. So it's time that Anthony Joshua brings that London street mentality to the fucking ring now. It's done with that Mr. Nice Guy shit, bro. I'm done with that fucking nice guy shit. Yo, what's happening, Jonathan Ramirez, man? You cool there, bro? I'm glad Boxing 9082 understands what I'm saying. There is only one killer. Whoever was the killer of them all. And his mindset was the biggest killer mindset since I've ever watched boxing in my life. Nigel Benn, Gerald McKellen, and fucking Tyson, Mike Tyson. I've never seen killers like these guys. And that's all I'm saying to you. That when these guys smelt blood, they were ready to take your head off. When these guys smelt blood, they were going to kill you in the ring. That's right. Nigel Benn fought Chris Eubank Sr. when Chris Eubank Sr. put Michael Watson in a coma. Did you know that? Michael Watson was one of the baddest fighters coming out of Hackney, London. And when Nigel Benn was coming up, Michael Watson beat him. But guess what Nigel Benn did? Nigel Benn, it didn't bother him. Chris Eubank Sr. nearly killed a fighter. And Nigel Benn came to kill that guy. That's what you call a killer. That's what you call a real, true killer. Nigel Benn come to beat a man where Chris Eubank nearly killed him in Michael Watson. And Nigel Benn had that much heart, that much fucking heart, that he came back to take out a man which was much better than everybody. And that's the kind of killer mentality that AJ needs. AJ needs the killer mentality right now. Yo, Mad Chad, everybody go support my brother. Mad Chad Boxing. All my people from London, England, go support Mad Chad. He a fucking true boxing hardcore fan out here. That's right, Jonathan Ramirez. That's right, bro. Yo, George, what's happening, George? That's right. That's right. You know, when Nigel Benn was on the street and, you know, a lot of things were going bad, when Nigel Benn was getting into gang warfare and Nigel Benn was on the street and people were trying to kill each other. You know, God bless Nigel Benn's brother. Nigel Benn's brother got killed on the streets of London, and Nigel Benn was going crazy in London, and his dad sent him to the British Army, and that's what saved Nigel Benn, because Nigel Benn was going to either end up dead or killing people. But the good thing is his dad sent Nigel Benn to the British Army, and that made a boxer out of him, because he was never a boxer. Nigel Benn went in boxing when he was 17, 18. He was a motherfucking street fighter. And that's right. Now it's time for Anthony Joshua to go to the street, because boxing's not going to win him this fight anymore. He's got to come back like a Nigel Benn. He can't come with that boxing mentality. In this particular fight, he can't do what he did with Andy Ruiz. He can't come back with the drawing board and come with some good boxing fucking game plan to outbox Andy Ruiz. It's done. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I put my house on it that it will never happen. The only way that AJ can win this fight is that he got to come back like a street fucking hood. He got to come back like he's going to kill someone or his whole family's going to die. There is no way that AJ can win this fight with a boxing mentality. I'm done with that shit. I've seen street fighters win boxers and beat better boxers than them. I've seen street fighters with killer mentality. When they smell blood, they're going to kill you. And that's the kind of fighter that we need now. We need a fighter that we know he's not as good as that guy. But you know what? Now his mindset, and he's got a killer fucking instinct, it will win him the fight. That's the only way that AJ beats Alexander Usyk. Yo, what's happening, Volts? I mean, I don't know what that means. He's owned by the white corporations, is probably what you mean. He's owned by his sponsorships, and he's owned by all the millions that he gets from all the companies that he represents. So is that what you mean? He's owned by the white man? I don't know what that means. Or are you trying to say that he's owned by the system? Or are you trying to say that he's owned by a corporation? What I can say is fuck the color, the white, the black, the brown. He's owned by the fucking corporations, and the corporations means that you got to act a certain way. So Anthony Joshua's got to forget about this ambassador. Forget about trying to please other people. Now it's time he starts to please himself. Now it's time that he digs deep. Now he digs deep. He needs to dig deep within his soul and show the boxing world that he ain't no fucking Mr. Nice Guy. Fuck this Mr. Nice Guy attitude. We're done with that shit. Now there comes a killer, and Anthony Joshua got to come with a killer mentality. That's all that means. I don't know about the white guys, the brown guys, the black guys. I don't care about that. He just got to come back like a fucking killer. And you're right, Hawk and Mustang. I'm telling you that AJ's starting to remind me of Frank Bruno. Not even Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was a killer. Lennox Lewis had killer instinct. But Frank Bruno always was missing something. Frank Bruno always was missing the killer instinct. So yes, AJ is acting a bit more like, and his mentality is like Frank Bruno. I wish he was a bit more like Deontay Wilder. I wish he was a bit more like Mike Tyson. I wish he was a bit more like Lennox Lewis. Nah, you're right, you know. He's acting like Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno and AJ are very similar. Now that I'm looking at it, history's repeating himself. History is repeating himself because Frank Bruno was missing the killer instinct too. You're right. He was missing that killer instinct. That's right, Hawk and Mustang. He better not take that rematch if he thinks like he's coming back to try and do something better than he did last time. The only way he's coming back if he believes in himself and he thinks he's ready to take this man's life. Because if he doesn't have that mentality, forget about it. AJ needs to sit back now. Because right now, AJ doesn't seem like he's got the mindset, because he definitely doesn't have the skills. So he needs one of the two. He needs one of the two. He needs a killer instinct or the skills. And we know he ain't got the skills. So now, if he can't have that killer instinct, he shouldn't be activating that rematch. Hey, Rider the Storm, salute to you, my brother. A Rider of the Storm. We need a storm on fucking AJ. You need to put a storm in AJ, bro. Rider of the Storm. We need fucking AJ to come back like a lightning fire, bro. He needs to come back like the lightning fucking fire, bro. He can't come back like a gentle giant. He can't come back like a fucking big teddy bear. Now he's got to come back with that crazy London mentality, bruv. He got to bring the projects into it. He got to bring that fucking crazy killer instinct into it, or he's gonna let himself down, bro. Look, AJ's done a lot for boxing. He's done a lot for boxing, but now you got to take it back to the fucking street and forget about the silk fucking pajamas. Fuck the silk sheets. Forget all the money that he's getting. Forget all the ambassadors. Fuck all that bullshit. Now it's all guns blazing, or forget about it. Hey, Hawker Mustang, I'm glad you agree with me. I'm glad you agree with me because it's not a physical thing anymore. This ain't a physical thing anymore. It's a mental thing. And the only thing that AJ's missing is a killer instinct now. That's it. Because he's stronger than Usyk. But now he can't be scared and he can't second guess himself and he can't have any fear in his eyes. Hey, welcome to, who's this? Karma. Hey, Karma Senna, welcome to the channel, love. Welcome to coming to Rap Stars channel, man. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And thanks for coming through to represent Rap Star Boxing. I don't think Ruiz being in shape would have made a difference in the rematch. He was in the best shape of his life and he still couldn't drop by a past prime Chris Algeria. Now, you're right. He got dropped by Chris Algeria. You're right. But listen, Andy Ruiz ain't no Usyk. Usyk's not Andy Ruiz. You might be able to come back and beat Andy Ruiz, but Usyk is a different level. You ain't coming out to outbox. You can't come back with another game plan, Karma. Karma, you can't come with a game plan to outbox Usyk. So what do you do then? If you can't outbox the boxer, you better come back to kill him. So let's take it to the street then. It's now AJ needs to bring that street fight. Fuck the fucking rest of the bullshit. He can't be thinking about boxing, Karma. He got to think about, I'm going to kill this man. And I don't give a fuck what it takes to kill this man. Or forget the fucking rematch. That's all I'm saying. But look, to everybody who joined me today, to everybody who came through, what do you think? Does he need to surround himself with killers? Does he need to come back with a Nigel Benn attitude? Does he need to come back with Mike Tyson's attitude? Does he need to come back with Lennox Lewis's attitude? Does he even need to come back like Deontay Wilder's attitude? Because the Frank Bruno attitude is not helping him. The corporate attitude is not helping him. And that's a fact. Now it's time to go to the street. Fuck the silk sheets. Fuck the money. Fuck Range Rover. Fuck Jaguar. Fuck all these people. Because these people are making you weak, Anthony Joshua. The money has made you soft. Now let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back like you're coming from prison. Look like you're going to kill someone who's fucking hurt your family. Now it's time you go to that fucking side of the world. Let's go back to the street and let's take this man out, bro. Can Anthony Joshua come with a killer instinct and leave everything that happened behind him? Leave the demons. Do you think our guy from London, England, can come back and make history again? Can he become the three-time world champion? Very, very hard to tell. But I'll say this, he got a chance. He got a chance. All he's got to do is come back like a killer, like he wants all the blood, and he wants to kill this man, then he's got a chance. Well, anyway, look, guys, I respect everyone coming through. Tell me what you think. Does my guy need to come back like the Dark Destroyer? Does he need to come back like Wilder? Does he need to come back like Tyson? This is what we need to do. We need to get Anthony Joshua to come back like a motherfucking killer. Hey, salute to everybody who came through. NL in the building. Boxing 9082. The one and only Milo Grogan. Hawker Mustang. Sam UK. Hey, everybody. Karma. Rider of the Storm. Everybody who came through today. We'll be talking about this soon. Can Anthony Joshua bring that killer instinct? Can he come back to draw blood? Because he got to come back to kill this guy or forget about it. If he can't come back to kill this guy's going to beat the fuck out of him. If I was Anthony Joshua, if he's going to second guess himself, if he's got any fear in his eyes, then he can't come back. He can't come back. It's time for him to be hypnotized. It's time for him to go hang out with the Dark Destroyer and come back to kill a man. Or Anthony Joshua is never, ever going to beat Alexander Usyk. But on that note, to everybody out there, be safe, be good. Until the next live, I'll catch you guys soon. It's Rapstar, Boxing Knowledge. We out of it. Peace.